Hello. So I'm not feeling that great today, but we've got to eat. So let's make some dinner. Tonight we are going to be making a creamy tagliatelle pasta with some shrimp. This is like an old HelloFresh recipe. I've got my recipe taped up right behind my camera. So all we're going to do is we need some garlic. I think the recipe calls for like either 2 or 4 cloves of garlic, depending on how much you're going to be making. You know me, I like to put a lot of garlic, so we're going to probably use 4 cloves of garlic. We need some scallions. I had bought like a lot of scallions one day and didn't want them to go to waste, so I cut them up and I froze them. So I've got that already chopped, which is perfect for a day like today where I'm just like low on energy. Um, we need some chili, so I'll probably just use like red pepper flakes. Some heirloom grape tomatoes. I have some leftover tomatoes from the little fruit and vegetable platter that I made the other day, so I'm just going to use those. We need some lemon, got my lemon, shrimp, and tagliatelle pasta. So I've got pappardelle. I mean, it's going to work the same. It's pretty much like a broad noodle. And we'll need some sour cream. So I've got some sour cream right here. So I'm going to be kind of mincing up about 4 cloves of garlic. I've already got my water boiling on the stove. And if I don't do a lot of chit-chatting today, don't hold it against me. I definitely caught whatever Colin had. Although I don't have a fever like he did. I think I caught more of like his cold symptoms. But he's feeling better, so it makes it all worth it, you know? At least we've got a pretty chill week this week. The kids have a science fair coming up, so Colin's upstairs working on his project. He's doing his on renewable energy. He built a solar-powered robot. That was really cool. At first, we thought that he was going to be building a robot that he had to code, but when I was looking at the box, I'm like, Bud, I'm like, this is solar panel. You don't even need to code anything. So he's like, oh, okay. He didn't even know what he was doing. But in doing the research on the renewable energy, we both actually learned a lot of stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then she decided to build a marshmallow tower. So she wanted to test to see which one was more stable, a tall, thin tower or a wide, short tower. And spoiler alert, we discovered that the short, wide tower was actually more stable than the thin, long tower. So that was pretty cool. I also feel like the most time-consuming part of the garlic process is like peeling it. When I make food in batches, like to freeze, I usually have the kids peel all the garlic for me. They got little hands. They like to help, so that all works out. So we got 4, but you know what? This clove's pretty small, so we're not going to count that one. Okay. Come on, all the skin, come on off. I think there's like a hack where you can put your garlic cloves in a jar and like shake it and it gets all the skin off. Maybe next time I'll do that. All right, There we go. So then we're just going to kind of mince this up. And I actually have like this little tool that my husband got for me, and you just put the garlic in and it just push a button and it just minces it all. Which is kind of nice, but I don't really feel like washing all that today. We're just kind of going for minimal effort. And this meal seemed pretty easy to make. It's, I mean, aside from boiling the pasta, it's pretty much like all like a one-pan meal. And when it comes to one-pot meals, I am all for them. Makes it nice and easy. Give this like a nice little mince here. Get it all together one more time and go do it one more time. I used to watch a lot of cooking shows when I was younger, and I used to watch Giada De Laurentiis all the time, and I don't know what it was about the way she was cutting, but the sound of her knife cutting just was always so soothing. All right. Got garlic. I'm just going to put it in this little bowl here. Half of it just kind of fell onto my counter. That's okay. Go. All right, so we're going to cut that, put that aside, and then I've got some of the tomatoes. I'm just going to cut them in half. I don't think, let me see, the recipe doesn't say that we have to cut them in half, but, or actually does it? Yes, have the tomatoes. That is what we shall do. My husband doesn't really like tomatoes, but you know what? I do. And the kids do. So he doesn't complain though. He'll usually just pick them out if he doesn't want them. G just came running down. She needs a snack. She said, Colin is still working on his project up there. All he really has to do is write some facts on a board. So, writing is not his favorite, so I'm sure it's taking a lot of effort for him to do that right now. Although we did write everything down, we did our research and we wrote everything down in a notebook. So all he really has to do is copy from the notebook. All right, so I think I've got all of them halved. And I think, and all we have to do with the lemon, we're just going to quarter the lemon because I think we're just going to like drizzle it into the pot when we do the shrimp. So I'm just going to hold off on that until we get rid of these tomatoes. All right, so I'm going to take you over to the stove now. Welcome to the stove. So I've got my water boiling. I'm going to go ahead and pop some pasta in there. I don't really know how much we're going to need, but the package I have is 1 pound. A little over a pound. I also have some olive oil kind of like heating up on this in this pan. Let's just get this guy. I always think they're so cute that they come in like little nests. Okay. It's to this pan, I'm going to go ahead and add our garlic. And some scallions. And I think the recipe called for like 2 scallions, but obviously since I've already got them all chopped up, I'm just gonna kind of toss in a good bit. So we'll do that. Okay, and then at this point you're supposed to add some chili flakes as well. And like I said, I've got a bit of a cold, so I can't really smell what's going on in this pot here. I mean, I'm assuming that it smells really fragrant and really good, so let's go ahead and, oh, Jana brought up what she wants for dinner. I'm gonna heat that up for her in a minute. She wants mac and cheese tonight. All right, so I put a good bit of like red pepper flakes in here. Maybe that'll help like clear out my sinuses, I don't know. So we're gonna saute this up for a little bit. And then once this gets to like what I think is fragrant, I'm gonna go ahead and add the shrimp in. This looks like it's pretty fragrant. I mean, the garlic, it's soft, but it's not burnt, so that's good. I mean, I don't know why I'm trying to smell it. I can't smell anything. All right, so now we're gonna put in the shrimp. So we're gonna put the shrimp in and season it with like some salt and pepper. And cook it for a couple minutes on each side. They were a little frozen. I had thawed them out. I always like to kind of get stuff like this and have it in the fridge or in the freezer just in case I want to make like a quick meal or something. Salt and pepper. And I had to charge my salt grinder because it was dying on me. Again, it sounds like it's a lot of pepper, but it's really not. This thing is seriously just so slow. You have a spoon right there, Janet. Okay.
It's cold.
That's okay. Just rinse it off.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna let this kind of cook up a little bit, and we're gonna cook it until it's like almost done, because then we're going to add in our tomatoes and let those kind of cook up.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. She brings a smile to my face, that little one. Our shrimp are kind of cooked through a little bit. Like, they're pink, but they still have a little bit of that opacity to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump in our tomatoes right in there. And you just pretty much want them to warm up enough so that they kind of like burst, I guess. We're gonna kind of go in here. We're just gonna stir this up, and I might add a little bit more salt and pepper in here. I've got this on medium-high heat right now, but I don't feel like it's, I don't know, I feel like it's really cooking it as fast as more pepper. And then the recipe does say if you want your pasta to be a little bit spicier, you can add some more chili at this point. Just kind of like warming up these tomatoes. And I didn't end up putting the whole bag of pasta in here. but that's some good looking pasta. That should be almost done. So I'm probably going to turn the heat off on the pasta right now. And once these tomatoes are kind of cooked up, we're going to turn the heat off and we'll add in some lemon juice, some sour cream, and a little bit of butter. And then it says when you're serving, you can garnish with the scallions, but I put so many in here that I don't really think I'm gonna need to use any more to garnish. So our tomatoes are pretty soft. They're like kind of mashable. So I'm gonna turn the heat off, and then I'm going to add some butter. It's gonna give this pasta like some creaminess. The recipe said about I think it said between 2 and 4 tablespoons, so I did 3. Well, it seems like it's a little bit, it's a lot, but it's all right. Colin just came down and showed me his science fair project and it came out so good. I'm so proud of him. So we're just gonna kind of like mix this up here. We're essentially making the sauce now. So we're gonna get that butter melted. I'm gonna do a squeeze of lemon. So maybe I'm gonna do the whole lemon. I like that brightness that it adds. And these lemons they were so good. So much juice out of them. I get the seedless ones just because, quite honestly, I pay a little bit more for the convenience of not having to pull seeds out of my recipes. Although my husband bought like a citrus juicer, so like the orange, like the juicer thing, and it's an electric one, and I didn't realize that. For like, it was sitting in our basement for I want to say like a good year, and I like to make chicken piccata, and I use a ton of lemons. I probably use like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 lemons when I make mine. And I'm sitting there like squeezing all of these lemons by hand when I could have been using that juicer. So when we were cleaning out my basement, I found it and I was like, "You've been holding out on me." He laughed. Okay. So we've got the juice of a whole lemon in here. We've got the butter. And now the butter's not really fully melted. Get that melted. I think it smells good. Now we're going to add some sour cream. The recipe says between 4 and 8 tablespoons. I guess it's depending on if you're making 2 or 4 servings. Considering that I just kind of eyeballed everything, I'm going to eyeball the sour cream as well. So I put kind of like 2.5, 3 scoops in there. The sauce does look pretty thick. I mean, not thick, it looks pretty thin, so I don't really know if I'm going to need to add the pasta water to it. Alright, so it's like a nice creamy white sauce. There we go. And now all I need to do is toss the pasta in there. I didn't drain the pasta because, quite honestly, I didn't want to mess up another dish. And since this recipe called for some pasta water, I figured whatever pasta water falls into there from this pot is good enough. So grab some of this pasta, just going to give it a quick stir. Pasta looks really good. I actually got this pasta, I want to say I got it from Trader Joe's. Now I kind of try and shop wherever the sales are and what's cheapest. So I kind of bounce between like Trader Joe's and Aldi's seems to be the cheapest around us. And if I need something particular that I know that they don't have, then I'll go to Stop and Shop and kind of buy my groceries there, but they're a little expensive. So I try to avoid buying as much at the big box grocery stores like Stop and Shop. Sometimes you just can't help it. My family's very brand specific when it comes to certain things like milk. They only like Trader Joe's milk. Orange juice, same thing. They really only like Trader Joe's orange juice. But like cheeses and stuff, they like Aldi's and they like Stop and Shop. I don't really like the Trader Joe's cheeses. Sliced cheeses, I should say. Shredded cheeses, they don't mind. All right, so we are just going to give this a toss here. And you can hear just like how rich and like creamy this is. And I feel like pastas like this, once you let them sit and the sauce will like absorb into the noodles, it's just so good. I'm really tempted to put more red pepper flakes in there, but I don't know if Gianna is gonna try it tonight. And if she does, she's not gonna, I don't know if she'll want it with the red pepper flakes. Like I said, she does like to try everything. Okay. Looks good. My husband will be home in a few minutes and he'll have nice hot pasta to welcome him home.